All week long, we've been bringing you a sampling of CNA's latest digital audio offerings. Tonight is one to savor as you contemplate a restful and hopefully rejuvenating weekend. And to tell us more about all the podcasts by some of CNA938's best is Melanie Oliveiro. Melanie, tell us more about these on-demand, some cases, long-running podcasts offered by CNA938.
You're right, Wei Su. It's been long-running because for CNA938, we used to be known as News Radio and 938 Live. So we were producing podcasts since the 2000s. So for us to hop onto this next stage of the bandwagon, so to speak, it's not alien territory, but we're still learning a lot more because podcasts have evolved over the years, yeah? So in summary, for Daniel Martin, for Eugene Lowe, and for me, we have 60 years of podcasting experience, which also includes radio journalistic experience, producing, and also presenting. So we do everything ourselves. So with Daniel Martin, he's got 15 years of experience speaking to health professionals, surgeons, and doctors as well. All of that in the podcast Health Matters to tell you what's the latest in health, how to best take care of yourself. With Eugene Lowe, it's all about Singaporeana. He speaks to Singaporeans from all walks of life, from the introverted museum docent to the passionate sitar player. For Yasmin Yonkers, she speaks to women who are passionate about what they do in Singapore. So there's so many stories to tell.
So these stories grouped under very generally, I looked on the webpage, news, health and fitness, society and culture. And you have your own podcast. It's called Page Turner.
Page Turners. I've been interviewing authors since I've joined MediaCorp in 2001. And back then, my interviews were only aired once, and that was it. And then a little backstory here, when I had to work from home for about 1.5 years during COVID, I could not produce book programs anymore because understandably, we had to pay attention to COVID. So books also gave me a lot of solace and comfort during the times when I was working from home. So I decided that when I could come back, I could make that into a podcast for it to be aired as many times as people wanted and to communicate the love of books to people all over again post-COVID.
All right, this love of books. Yeah. This season, we're seeing 7 episodes exploring that love. Which recent author left you with the most hard-to-forget impression?
Wow, hard to forget is right, Wei Su. I spoke to a financier, Bill Browder. He is a British-based US financier who started his business in Moscow. But he found that he couldn't deal with a lot of rule-breaking and corruption there. So to cut a long story short, he had a lawyer called Sergei Magnitsky. And Magnitsky and him, while they were researching the corruption there, because basically they couldn't take it anymore, they decided to be political activists. And through the death of Sergei Magnitsky, his lawyer, Bill decided to take this fight outside of Moscow, outside of Russia, to the world, where, as you know, the Magnitsky Act or the Magnitsky Law, depending where in the world you are, if it's enacted, helps to freeze the assets of people, powerful people who have committed human rights abuses, who have proven to be corrupted individuals, and also to basically commit a lot of bad crimes. So their assets, properties are frozen in the countries where the Magnitsky Law is applicable. So understandably, he says the Russian president doesn't like him very much, tried to discredit him as many times as he could, the Russian president and the people who work for him. And Mr. Browder said that all the times when he felt he had to be discredited, he felt his life was in danger, and that of his family as well. So let's take a listen to one of the clips from him. Let's say, Bill, you go to Borough Market and you buy some coffee and then you touch a doorknob along the way. Do you have to think twice about simple things that you do?
No, I'm not living in a paranoid state. If I went to Borough Market every day and bought the same cup of coffee and then touched the same doorknob, then that would give them something to work with. The key is not having a predictable life, because they're not just going to go spreading Novichok on every doorknob, because someone else will die and eventually their attempts would become uncovered. And so they try to look for patterns in their target's behavior, and I try to not give them those patterns.
Melanie, this podcast involving Bill Browder, that was episode 2. You're now to episode 7 for the current season. What's next for Page Turners?
Well, I'm hopefully going to get an interview with Edward Enninful. He is the editor-in-chief of British Vogue. So Edward, not Anna Wintour, but he's a very important man. And also, we love to pay attention to Singapore authors as well. So I'm going to be speaking to Meihan Bui. She wrote a horror/comedy novel about, it's called The Formidable Miss Cassidy. It's about how a Scottish governor comes to colonial-ruled Singapore, and for some reason she can battle all manner of demons and monsters and the Pontianak and the Penanggalan. So that's going to be very exciting stuff. And if you tune in today, I've got a new episode about one of Malaysia's most respected forensic pathologists, Dr. Rahayu Adnan, just loaded today.
Oh, thanks so much for that. Melanie Oliveiro, CNA938 presenter and host of Page Turners. In fact, a veteran podcaster long before podcasting became the bandwagon it has become now.
Thank you, Wesu. Thank you.